but I've had enough time to clear my head, to calm myself down, to compact and compartmentalize my thoughts, and to compose myself and cool my head and feed the ducks and take a walk. And I have decided with composure and with perspective that he needs to be sacked. And to be honest, I was already trying to put it politely with manners. Please resign, I said after Southampton. Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for your weekly roundup of all the sporting events of the week. The roundabout is here to be delivered and sent to you, packaged this Monday morning with no problems, with no delays, with no complaints. And I'm so sorry that I haven't been here to do this on a regular basis. In the last couple of weeks, my equipment has been moving through Gazy. But I'm back here, ready, and there's a lot to get into, so let's not waste no time. 2 sackings. Wow, in quick succession. And that is not even counting the parting of ways, the parting of companies between Conte and obviously Tottenham Hotspur the week before. But yeah, it's sacking season and we ain't talking about Santa, you know what I'm saying? So bang, let's get straight into it with the fixtures, because we have to start in the Premier League. Big batterings. And I'm not talking about Arsenal at the Emirates, I'm talking about Manchester City holding Liverpool by the throat, holding them by the neck, putting them up on the wall and saying, listen, try, I dare you to come and talk to me again with your loud selves. Do you know what I'm saying? Coming up away from home to the Etihad thinking that they're going to do something because Haaland is not fit and available. Have you heard of Alvarez, the World Cup winner? He was fantastic and lovely link up, lovely fluidity, brought something different, something malicious to that Manchester City attack. But it is all about the Grealish show. It's all about Kevin fucking De Bruyne. These two were disgusting. These two were dirt. These two were just so devilish. So devilish. Words cannot begin to describe what I watched from Grealish. I'm going to put it out here and I'm going to say it loud and clear. This was his best Manchester City performance by a country mile. He was so good. Every time he picked up that ball down the left-hand side, he took on Trent, he destroyed, and he inspired wingers for the rest of the weekend. It was a winger world this weekend. Leao inspired. Saint-Maximin inspired. Everybody was inspired by Jack Grealish this weekend on that left wing. He was the one that orchestrated it all, started it all, and created the dangers, got the assist, got the goal. More than you can believe, it was fully deserved. And I just love to see it, because this guy for 100 million has been criticised. He's been kind of under the microscope for quite a while now. And listen, this season he's been much improved, but his overall just general play, the oozing confidence coming from the 2 feet of his, dazzling, absolutely sparkling, absolutely specific with everything that he did in that game. And Kevin De Bruyne was his partner in crime. Lovely little 1-2s, gives and goes. Some of the passes that Kevin De Bruyne was playing in that first half, the little scoops. Brother, are you an ice cream driver? Some of the scoops. Damn, what flavour was that shit? That was nice. Some of the scoops. And Grealish was starting to copy him as well. I was like, damn, this is real football. This is real football. Some of the combinations, the connections. Ugh, it was disgusting. And poor Fabinho, poor Henderson. We know that these two can't handle it in there. It's too hot in that kitchen, and they got absolutely sliced, diced, flipped, fried, and it was peak. It really was. Liverpool, listen, they weren't as poor in the first half as the scoreline showed at the end. Salah, Gakpo, Jota especially, really worked his socks off on that left-hand side. Listen, they tried their very best in the first half, but once that second half goal went in seconds, it was all over. Manchester City started doing the disrespectful thing that they do, which is keep possession and toy with you and tease you and taunt you and traumatize you, and that's exactly what happened in the end. Convincing, and Manchester City keep that gap to Arsenal the same. And of course Arsenal, how could I not even mention them? Of course, a lovely win, wonderful against Leeds. Good, moving on. Honestly, who cares? I don't care. I'm not affected. So we move. Manchester United. I have to mention Jesus. Fair play to you. Come back. Got your goals. Cool. But Manchester United. Wow, against Newcastle. That was one hell of a display from the Champions League spot contenders. They are pushing to the absolute premium. They're not pissing about in this Premier League. They are serious. They're the lowest team in terms of goals conceded, and now they've scored the same amount of goals as Manchester United. A Newcastle fan in my chat continues to keep reminding me, I will not forget that statistic for you, sir. It was a fantastic performance from start to finish. You could give Manchester United maybe 13 minutes at the start of the first half where, you know, Anthony tried a thing or two. Rashford was pretty much anonymous in this game. I was starting to think that he was maybe carrying some sort of knock. I don't feel like he was fully fit. He wasn't exerting himself the same way Saint-Maximin was maximising shit on that left-hand side against Diego Dallo. That guy was getting absolutely cooked. He was getting absolutely destroyed. They missed Wan-Bissaka so badly in this game. He would have sized up. But every time Saint-Maximin got that ball, he made that man weep. He made him into a mere mortal. He just toyed with him, took it past him. I don't even want to talk about it because it was criminal. This guy should have been arrested. I don't even know if he had his Gucci headband on in that game. He was just so good. Every time he got the ball, he took him on, he was aggressive, he went straight at him, and he just loved it. He couldn't stop. And the thing is with Saint-Maximin is that you don't even know what he's on sometimes. It's like he dribbles in such a strange way. I don't even think he even knows what's coming next. He's just attacking his man, and whatever happens, happens. He might give you a little step over, he might give a little dummy, a little fake, and then he might drift off into some random other direction. His output could always continue to keep improving with his decision making and his shooting, but this guy, he is a joy to watch. And when he came off, I shed a tear. I'm not gonna lie. When he was substituted by Eddie Howe, I was shedding tears because I was gonna miss him. And I must say, St James's Park, you got a big pitch. Like, you guys got a big ass pitch. You must enjoy it because the football that was being played was wonderful, and there was just looked like there was so much space in that game. I don't know what was going on. Sabitzer and McTominay in midfield, it wasn't really working out. None of them were really making any sort of impression, any sort of impact. Fernandes, again, away from home against a big team, failing to appear. This guy was anonymous. There was only one Bruno on that pitch, and that was Bruno Gomes. That was Bruno Gomes, the real Bruno, the Brazilian Bruno, yeah? None of that fake shit, you know what I'm saying? Real shit for real men. CC, my brother, Culture Cam. So, yeah, good performance from Newcastle, really, really strong. Got their goals, dealt with it, and Manchester United, as soon as Ten Hag took off them centre-backs, that's when they conceded from a set piece. Typical. You know, it was a tall team. Newcastle had so much aerial threat. They could have scored more. You know, Wilson obviously getting that goal there, but they could have got more goals, man. Willock with the first, he could have got a second. Longstaff, they just had so many opportunities. De Gea made some massive saves. But yeah, lovely to see Newcastle flying and doing what they do best, do you know what I'm saying, this season, which is keep a clean sheet and handle business. So big up to them. Moving on. Brentford and Brighton exchanged punches at the Amex. Bloody affair. A little bit better than what I saw from Anthony Joshua this weekend. A little bit unconvincing, a little bit underwhelming, but these two weren't. They were fantastic. And it was more of a WrestleMania situation, do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't prime Brighton, it wasn't prime Brentford, if you get me the pun, but it was good. Goals conceded galore, but listen, both of them are fighting neck and neck for those European places, so they're going to continue to do what they do. McAllister with a last minute penalty, Matoma with a wonderful finish, Tony with another goal. It's same old between these two teams. Wonderful little fixture, fantastic, bellissimo. And obviously Fulham did their thing, but more importantly Crystal Palace did their thing with Roy Hodgson back in charge and got Brendan Rodgers sacked. That's right, Brendan Rodgers sacked, along with Graham Potter sacked. 2 sackings in the British Isles this weekend on the UK soil. 2 brothers have been let go by their I don't know, owners. People don't own them, but you know what I'm saying. The point is that they're unemployed and they're going to be outside the job centre in lickety-split, literally, any day now. Bloody hell, I could do with an extra editor actually. I might actually hire someone. I might hire one of these brothers. They are starving. I mean, Rodgers, listen, he was really good at Leicester. I don't want any revisionism on his Leicester time. I know the last 2 years have been tough for you Leicester fans to stomach. He could have probably been sacked earlier on in the season. I was starting to think that you maybe couldn't afford his pay package. But this guy won an FA Cup. This guy flirted with top 4 twice. And listen, you could say that he bottled it, but it's almost like the Pochettino Champions League final situation. These clubs never were meant to be in the scenarios that they were faced with. And the fact that they were even in those positions in the first place demands great respect and great applaud. Applaud for Brendan Rodgers. It's a good job he did. And it's not easy when you're losing your best players year in, year out, or you've got contracts expiring in Tielemans and Maddison and injury-prone players like that, Fofana leaving, Schmeichel. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy in these streets. So it was never going to be sustainable. They are in the relegation zone, but listen, he's still, for me, done a very good job and a very good manager. And Potter, I don't have as many plaudits for you, sir. Statistically, absolutely horrendous. I don't really need to get too deep into it because I did do a video on it on Sunday morning, explaining in great detail why I think you need to be sacked, and then on Sunday night you were sacked. So it's almost like it was spoken into existence a little bit, but you know, job done in the end. Unfortunately for you, you are out the door, and that video, those streams, they are up on the channel, and we will speak more about it on London Clubs Carnage. But yeah, Chelsea losing 2-0 at home to Aston Villa, and I mean, you couldn't have any more shots if you tried. XGFC once again, but you know, no points on the board, down in 11th. But don't forget, we are top of page 2. We are top of the bottom half of the league. Crystal Palace, catch us if you can. 8 points clear. Hold that. And yeah, shameless. So moving on, that's the Premier League. Serie A needs to be spoken about right now, because Napoli. And I was going to cover this game. But then I was like, you know what, I'm not going to cover this game because I need to cover the Man United game, and I'm tired because of the F1, which we're going to get into in a minute on Australia Grand Prix. So I said, you know what, I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. So I said, I'm going to miss out, and I'm going to have a cup of tea, I'm going to chill, I'm going to eat dinner, and I'm going to leave this Napoli game for they're probably going to do some damage, you know what I mean, beat AC Milan and handle business. I know there was no Victor Osimhen, but they lost 4-0. They lost 4-0 to AC Milan at home. These two have to play each other in the Champions League. And Leao, I don't know what came over this man, because he's been, you know, a little bit lackluster at times when I've watched him in recent months. But he absolutely tore them a new one. It was absolutely emphatic from him. And again, inspired by Grealish, in my opinion. It's no coincidence that two left wingers started ripping up shit after Jack Grealish put out the performance he did against Liverpool. I'm just saying. Clearly, they were watching Match of the Day. And unbelievable performance from Leao. Two wonderfully taken goals, and that I did not see that coming. Top of the table, Napoli are going to win the league. It's clear. They're so far clear. It's almost embarrassing how clear they are. Biggest margin points wise I've seen in a long time in top 5 leagues, but they were humbled. Football was a crumbler, and they did crumble to AC Milan 4-0 at home. And like I said, Champions League, someone said something very interesting, very intriguing to me. Well, I was listening on a stream, they weren't speaking to me, but he said that, you know, AC Milan are kind of like the father to Napoli in Champions League because of obviously all the trophies they've won, and Napoli have, of course, not got the pedigree, so they're not going to maybe feel the same kind of confidence that they would in the league. Now, obviously, they got slapped up in the league, but that was kind of similar when we played Manchester City, I guess, a better team than us at the time in the Champions League final, but we were the dad because we were the ones that had won it previously and they were the novice. So it's interesting that maybe when you go to the Champions League, it doesn't really matter who's the best team in the league, it's more about who's got that heritage. But we're going to find out in the Champions League how these two come up against each other, but that was a absolute decapitation by AC Milan. I didn't see that coming. That was very distasteful. So fair play to you lot. In Spain, Barcelona and Real Madrid absolutely wiped the floors with their opponents. Cheeky little assist for Hazard, Benzema banging in the goals. But yeah, you know, we'll see what happens in the Champions League for. Oh wait. Oh yeah, we have to play them. Oh shit. Moving on, Germany. Germany. I don't want to talk about that. Germany, Bayern Munich beating Dortmund by 4-2. I watched the game. My former manager there, Thomas Tuchel, of course, in charge of his first match against Dortmund, his former club, and he put his team back on the top of the table with that emphatic win. They absolutely smoked him first half, 3 goals. I don't know if Dortmund want to defend. I don't know if their goalkeeper wants to answer for the crimes, stand up on the, you know, take to the stand, let the jury decide what kind of, you know, sentence we should give you for that horrendous error from the goalkeeper. Just pity. I pity the fool, honestly, that I am for thinking that a Bundesliga game was not going to have foolish defending. My eyes, honestly, sometimes the things I witness in that league defensively is just an absolute atrocity. So yeah, too easy in the end. Couple of consolation goals, but when you play like that in the first half and concede the goals they conceded and are as open and expansive as they were, Jesus, it makes me feel like we should have slapped them up more when we played them in the Champions League. Now, Jesus Christ. Oh, I just remembered we lost to them in the first leg. Anyway, F1. No better way to end the show. F1. Let me tell you something. This race was worth waking up for. Now, I would have been incredibly annoyed if I got a boring race after waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get to studio for the Australian Grand Prix, kicking off at 6, or lights and out at 6, right? But we got nothing but chaos, carnage, and it consumed. And I consumed every single last bit of it, every single last droplet. It was wonderful viewing. 3 red flags, plenty of controversy again, because Michael Massey was in the paddock, just like he was back involved in F1 in 2021, and he almost brought his incompetent juju with him, and absolutely fugazied the race, because it wasn't really his fault, but I'll blame him regardless, because I don't really take a liking to the man. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with the penalties for Sainz, and then of course not giving a penalty to Sargent, who went into the back of someone, and the 2 Alpines who smashed into each other, no penalty there. So really strange, weird behaviour from FIA to be so harsh on Sainz but not actually penalise the others. And the penalisation for Sainz was on a lap that didn't even count. So if the lap has vanished and is ghosted, has been, you know, smoked and you know, ruled off and ruled out, then why are we still penalising the person for a lap that didn't exist? I don't understand. But at the end of the race, yeah, they failed to get the race started many a time. We were sitting there for a whole hour making sure that they would get that final lap done so they can complete the race. And eventually they did get it done in a very boring fashion of a safety car, but it just goes to show that the race can end under a safety car if need be, if a race needs to be decided in such fashion, not throwing any salt anywhere. But yeah, Verstappen wins, Hamilton in second, Alonso handed a little bit that podium, but he continues to keep having a great start to the season. Really good positions for some of the other cars as well, like, you know, Hülkenberg and Tsunoda, and you know, the 2 McLarens, because basically we barely had any cars finish the race because of all of the anarchy that happened on the restart from the safety car at the end, and just everybody just went crashing out. Leclerc, long day for you. The meme continues to be used. Just absolute depression session over there at Ferrari for him. And of course, you know, Sainz finishing back of the grid in the end because of that penalty. And yeah, just a rough weekend for all of those concerned. Russell couldn't really get more unlucky if he tried. Destroyed by the safety car and the strategy of Mercedes to bring him in on a yellow flag, when really the red flag was just on its way because of a crazy crash earlier on in the race. And then of course, you know, it was wraps when his car decided to blow up and fire coming out the back of it. So yeah, long day for him, but you know, Hamilton managed to get P2, and that's really all that matters. From a biased Hamilton fan, but yeah, you know, it was a great race. I'm not gonna lie, loads of entertainment. I love the Australian Grand Prix. It used to be on first actually in the season in the opener, but now money's got involved, and Bahrain obviously kicks things off with testing and whatnot. But I love the Australian Grand Prix, and it feels good to know that Piastri got himself in there as well with a point on home turf. Obviously, Ricciardo no longer in the sport, chilling as a reserve driver, smiling away in the back room. But, you know, the Aussies continue to do their thing and handle business regardless of who's on track. So, nice day, lovely race. A bit long, you know, a little bit overdone, especially when I needed to go and catch a little nap after waking up that early, and plenty of other things to do. But, you know, F1, you can never predict what's going to happen in terms of the timings. It's just insane. But yeah, lots of controversy. FIA really need to fix up, because that's how many weeks in a row now that they've messed up? Probably every weekend since we started this damn calendar. So yeah, try to improve yourselves, and I will continue to enjoy the festivities. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. Smash up the likes. Make sure that you are getting me closer, ever closer to 50k. We're not far away. We're really pushing. That's why I'm outside in the freezing cold giving you content on this early Monday morning, and I'm still gonna bring more streams to you later on as well, because we've got London Clubs Carnage, Battle of the North coming out as well. Maybe a little cheeky watch along for Tottenham, depends if I really want to watch that absolute shocker of a match. We just know the stand-up football is going to be disgusting, but we'll see what decision I make. But I'll see you around. Big up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace.